What's happening, everyone? This is Howson's Brew. I haven't even got a brew. I messed up there, didn't I? Wonder if I sent the wife attention. No, I don't think so either. Anyway, joining me today, I have got the Northwest best podcasting duo. It is Scotty and Motty. Looks like Jay's in my seat. What's going on there?
In your seat with a Stretford Paddock FC Cup. Welcome to Howson's Brew. I'm your host, Stephen Howson.
I'm sick of this Rona.
How long you been in now, Steve?
Oh, only a week.
Haven't you done like tours and stuff like that in some sort of needy countries?
Yeah, but off camera, I'll tell you why they're a lot more fun.
I'm so glad you said off camera. That's for the best.
Yeah, you just don't like. I've just watched the news there, and to be fair, Keir Starmer's absolutely roasting Boris. I mean, that's entertainment. Outside of that, it's just well shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
For everyone in the comments, I don't actually have the Rona. I tested negative, but the track and trace rules are lock your ass up for a couple of weeks. So.
Yeah, we were the same, and I was like me trapped inside for 3 kids with a crazy dog and a wife and stuff, and it wasn't the one. My hairline was getting like Jay's.
Hey, no one wants that. Hey,
Jay shaves like this though.
Do you know what's here as well? If I can dig it out, hang on a minute.
It's not when you're manscaping.
Paid for this yet?
Wait a minute. Still be glad to see this.
Yeah, here's a product that I won't be using.
Me and Scotty have done our best for Manscaped on our podcast, and he still won't
for free.
We spoke about them for about an hour once. We've not even used it.
Right, so we actually have a topic. We actually have a secondary topic this week. Obviously, aside from the 1991 European Cup Winners' Cup run, greatest cup run that's ever happened.
Undoubtedly.
The topic is this big picture project that the Premier League have come up with. I've had my say in it already, and there's a video going live on my channel at 5, so you can see all of my thoughts in those. But let's see what you two lads think on this, because the 25% of Premier League revenues going to the EFL is amazing, and potentially life-changing for a lot of clubs there. But that, to me, seems like a carrot swimming in a river of shit. Because this is the most land-grabby, egregious, horrendous sort of... And it's weird that United and Liverpool have cooked this up together. The thing that scares me the most about it is that 6 clubs can collude and basically control this entire pyramid of football in this country. And that's terrifying to me, especially when one of those 6 is the Glazers.
Yeah.
That's absolutely terrifying. And I saw just before we came live as well, I haven't actually looked into it because I haven't got a subscription with the Telegraph. So I saw like the first paragraph that they give you as a preview. Spurs are going to be able to claim back 125 million for the stadium that they've just built. How is that fair? How have you got clubs like Bury going tits up for 100 and something grand? And you're giving 125 million to a club who, on their own dime, built a brand new £1 billion stadium. How does that work?
Yeah. It stinks from the top to the bottom. But for me, the fact that they're trying to do it as though it's some sort of charitable act, and like you said, it's not. They're just trying to do it for the greed of their own. And it's like there's a cartel of football clubs now, isn't there? Mm. And just when you think the Glazers can't get any more devious and fucking minging, they get into bed with Scousers. I mean, is that where we're at now? That's a new low for the Glazers. We're in bed with the Scousers, lads.
What a combo, the Glazers.
I'd rather be in bed with Tories.
What makes you think Scousers are any different than Tories? They're all Tories nowadays, aren't they? With the furlough and all the rest of it. No, I'm with Scotty. It does sound like you're ring fencing the sort of the elite. Doesn't seem fair. And also, just from a purely United point of view, I'm more concerned with the fact that we sort our absolute shambles of a team out and focus on that and focus on backing a manager rather than sacking him every 2 years before we start worrying about revamping the entire top tier of English football. I think, we've got more pressing matters to attend to. The owners and the executive vice chairman, whatever you want to call him, their priority should be making sure United are as competitive as possible. And to do that, you strengthen your team, you back your manager. You don't say, I tell you what, let's change the number of teams in the Premier League from 20 to 18 and let's get rid of the League Cup and the Charity Shield. This is completely, nonsensical. Focus on what your job is. You're not in a position now to start demanding changes. You need to focus on the job that you're employed to do, which is making Manchester United the club it should be.
Yeah. The changes, for those that aren't aware, they want to reduce the Premier League down to 18 teams, introduce a playoff, which I've got some data in the video that I've done going live at 5, which looks at the Bundesliga have this playoff between 16th place and 3rd in Bundesliga 2. Basically, it keeps the Bundesliga team in the Bundesliga. Very, very rare. I think like 3 times it's seen them go down and the other team come up. It basically just is a nonsense. There's that aspect of it. The reduction in games, the reduction obviously in games because you no longer have the League Cup, the reduction of the Charity Shield, which I thought was all about a big community thing that the FA was all about. And the FA getting 100 million of this gift as well, by the way. 100 million for the FA for an organisation that pays out the arse for all sorts of stuff. They're getting a charitable 100 million. That makes me sick. But anyway, all of these things that they've reduced, if they'd have said, do you know what, we're reducing this because we think even if they'd lied to us and said, we think there's too much strain on the players, we want to get a better product out there, so we're reducing the game so there's in line with the rest of Europe so that we are more competitive in the deeper stages of the Champions League, XYZ, some bullshit like that, it'd have been more palatable. But they've literally come out and said, we're reducing the number of games so we can play more friendlies for more money. And you're like, you fucking what? And there's going to be a summer Premier League tournament every 5 years. So that's going to be in what? That's going to be in Dubai, isn't it? Let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, great shout. It will be. And, who gives a toss about the summer Premier League tournament? That just sounds like a load of nonsense. And it sounds like something you don't need. And, for us fans as well, like you say, are we going to be flying over to Dubai to watch that? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? It just seems like more messing about. And I get right.
Sort it.
To be fair, right? I get you've got to do something, or you've got to make some sort of effort to try and help clubs further down the pyramid. We've seen it with Bury. We've seen it with Macclesfield. We very nearly saw it with Wigan and Bolton. Just if I'm going to keep it into the Greater Manchester area, we've obviously had a lot of that. Droylsden, you know better than anyone.
Yeah.
What's happened to Droylsden, and these are clubs, I know a couple of guys who are Bury fans who just, obviously, it's your club, you're devastated. So you do want to see them get a helping hand, and there's ways to do that without this nonsensical idea that seems to be more about the haves, keeping the haves and the have-nots separate rather than helping them, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's not bridging the gap, is it? It's moving it further apart. And considering the state of our football club and team at the moment, I'd have thought that making relegation harder they should be putting more teams in, so it's harder to go down, not fucking making it easier.
That'd be just us, that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
we finish 16th and lose the playoff.
First team in the relegation playoff. That'd be so Man United and under the Glazers. That
mate, nothing surprises me with them lot. Do you know what I mean? It does really seem strange though that this has all happened, and that not only have Liverpool and United got together and led the sort of the way with this, but also is it Rick Parry, the head of the EFL's, backed it as well?
It's a fucking knob and all. Let's get that straight.
So it just it does seem like you've just got all the Muppets together and they've come up with this, and it's like now everyone's outraged. I'm just curious to see how realistic this all is.
Well, the Premier League came out and denounced it, didn't they? The Department for Culture and Media denounced it. The EFL have denounced it. So you're like, hang on, who the fuck leaked this then yesterday? Someone leaked this on. Someone got this and went, fuck that, and leaked it.
Have there been conversations about this for going on for a while, and they're saying that due to COVID is why they're sort of making it happen sooner?
Right. Okay.
I don't think it's just been like a knee-jerk reaction to the pandemic, but it's like the greedy bastards have been sort of plotting for a while, and it's just given the excuse to go forward with the plans.
it worries me a little bit. You know, like, I mean, if we're being brutally honest, the League Cup gets scrapped. It's not the end of the world, but then you think further down the line, do they go?
All right, how does 90% of your academy players get debuts?
You what, sorry?
How do 90% of your academy players get debuts?
No, I get that. But my thing is, like, even if you were to stomach the League Cup, I'm not advocating that. Some of my best memories as a United fan have been at the League Cup. But then how long do you think it'd be before, I don't know, 10, 15 years down the line, they're going, do we really need the FA Cup? Do you know what I mean? Do we really need that cup competition? Does anyone really care about it? Do we really need 18 clubs in the Premier League? Could we not knock it down at 16? Do you know what I mean? You just don't know whether it just carries on and carries on. And I have no faith in the people involved not to just fuck it all up.
What about, do you like there's obviously a big anti-Premier League 3 or Premier League 2, I'm not sure what the fuck they're calling it, or League 3 movement from a lot of the lower league clubs. They don't want to see B teams in any of these competitions. Why not then, instead of scrapping it, because there's still a lot of money involved for all of these, it's the entire EFL obviously that are involved in this. What about give them an opportunity to try and win this? Like, why don't we give all of the championship teams, maybe the top 10 clubs, maybe this cartel of football teams that are deciding everything that goes on in the Premier League, maybe you lot put an under-23s team out in the EFL Cup then, and you're playing against the entire league, and then we'll find out whether these players are good enough or not. And that gives them lads a good opportunity. And I know we sort of restrict it anyway a little bit. We do play a rotated side in there, but why not make it more of an official thing? Why not do that rather than scrap the thing?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think some sort of revamping of it wouldn't go amiss. I mean, is it City just won it now last 3 times on the trot? He tends to take it quite seriously, doesn't he, Pep Guardiola? And then I think we were the last ones before City to win it. And, you think, okay, it's great for us. We were all there at Wembley. It was great to win a trophy. But how much does it actually mean to us in the grand scheme of things? Is there a way of sort of...
Well, if the Scousers are if we're scrapping it now, then the Scousers are miles behind us in terms of trophies because they count that as one of the major ones and they've won it more than anyone.
Get rid of it then. Scrap it. Get rid of it today. Today. God.
Nobody needs that.
Yeah, as of next year, you're not still counting that. It doesn't even fucking exist.
Do you know what I mean?
Cares about that. And Manchester Senior Cup's the same level as that. Get fucked. It's minging, though, isn't it? Because this, like you said, these power grabs, these are like what happens in politics and with government and stuff like that. When we get these sort of moves and these sort of power grabs, they never get repealed. This cabal of 6 Premier League teams getting the rights to vote on everything. Right now, they've said, we'll give you 25% of all the Premier League profits, which on the face of things is mega, honestly, really good. But what's to say in 2 years' time, they go, fuck that. Because only 6 of them need to vote on something to pass a motion. They can go, actually, instead of you getting 25%, now you pay us 25%. Like, realistically, that could happen with the way that they're now allowed to vote anything. No new clubs are allowed to vote. At the moment, 1 club, 1 vote seems like a pretty good idea to me.
Yeah.
Now it's these lot get to vote, the original 9, and we only need 6 of them to agree. So that means 14 clubs could be against something, but 6 have got together and gone, fuck you. It's happening.
Is this going to be stuff that's actually happening on the pitch? So introductions to stuff like VAR and stuff. Is it going to be, everything across the board that they're allowed to vote on?
I haven't seen, but I would assume it is that sort of stuff. Distribution of TV rights. Now, what's to stop that 6? Because think about who that 6 probably could be, right? City, for argument's sake, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, right? There's your 6, right? That 6 could go, do you know what? Instead of the perfectly fair distribution that we get in terms of TV money now, these fucking clubs that are just getting promoted, they don't deserve as much as us. We've been here for ages. Why don't we fuck them off and we'll do it? Because Martin Edwards, I spoke to him about this on a podcast and I asked him about the TV rights thing, and he said they wanted to keep it fair because like American sports, it's a network negotiated thing with the league and means everyone gets a fair slice, and that's why it stays relatively competitive. And you see, often you see new teams winning stuff. You don't really see many doing 2 and 3 time champions. So you see it change hands quite a lot. Keeps it relatively exciting, which I suppose you need to do when there's no promotion and relegation in half of them leagues. But the way it works in Spain, and the way it did work in Scotland is Barcelona and Real Madrid get out of the 250 million, I think it was. Oh, sorry, out of the 500 million, they get like 225 million each, and the rest of the league gets 50 million.
You know.
And you're like, right, okay. So what's to stop the top 6 going, do you know what? We're the money in this league. No one's tuning in for fucking Burnley, are they? Let's be real. So why don't we, what is it, 5 billion? Is that a season, by the way? I hope that's bananas if it's a season, isn't it? Yeah. So anyway, you go, all right, let's say it's 5 billion. Well, why don't we keep 80% of it and the new lads only get, like, that theoretically could happen. And I could see these slimy bastards doing that, to be honest with you.
It's weird as well. And is it like the class, the top 9 as the ones that have been in the Premier League the longest continuously?
Yeah, I think also enjoyed joining the top 6. I like to. I think it's Everton, West Ham, and Southampton. I think are the other one.
Ah, right, okay. I mean, it's flawed in it because if you look as well, just because you've been in the league the longest continuously doesn't mean you're a bigger club than another club. Like, you know, are Everton a bigger club necessarily than Newcastle? In history, yeah, they are, but in terms of fans and stuff like that, you know, that Newcastle have more fans going through the gate every year. They're representing the North East when they're like the only club in the top flight that are doing that. So it's just, you're going to get into arguments, aren't you? And it's almost impossible to decide who has more rights than others, unless you have it, like you say, Steve, with one club, one vote.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, you know.
What's wrong with you've earned the right to get promoted? I don't give a fuck if you're Hull or you're fucking Brentford. If you've earned the right on merit to be in the Premier League when they pull the fixtures out in July and August, you've earned the right to vote on what the fuck happens in the Premier League because you're a part of it. Simple. That's it. You got there on fucking merit. Done.
Yeah, you can't have a hierarchy of votes. That's like looking into the parliamentary system and then saying that, the people in London, their votes matter more than they do up in the Northwest. Well, I mean, that might be the fucking case. It feels like that anyway at the moment. But it just seems very sort of like parasites or like hyenas, because how many of the clubs below can you actually see turn this down? And whilst many people are coming out and kicking off about it, how many of them clubs that are in dire straits at the moment going to turn around and say, actually, you know what? I don't want this money. I'm going to stand by my principles and I'll watch this club go down because I'm standing on my principles. That isn't going to happen. No. So it'll get passed on that alone.
Yeah, the fact that, and even the 250 million that they're getting, that's their money anyway. Yeah. That's like me saying to the lads, and we're going to give you a 10 grand bonus, but you're not getting paid for the next 6 months. That's not how it fucking works. Like, it's your money. You're just getting it then. You're not getting it now. So you're giving them the money now and then just jacking it off them later. It's not just bollocks. And all right, the 25% thing might be fantastic. And, I don't know the figures on that yet. I haven't seen who's come out with the figures on that. But that's going 72 ways.
It just stinks like the most glazer thing ever, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, here's some money. Lots of money. Oh, what? Loads of money. Thanks. Yeah, it's your money anyway.
That fucking egg that we've got in charge of us did his fucking little ponytail on his bald head. Did that. Here's what we're fucking doing, lads.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see who it was that actually proposed the idea, though. I hope that gets leaked at some point, and I imagine it was him.
I don't think it's the Scousers. That Henry lot, they've had a pretty good rep since they came in. There's not like the Hicks and Gillette fellas that they had recently.
No.
This group that I hate saying this, but this group that the Scousers have got now might be the best American owners that we've seen.
Yeah,
the American owners that have come into the Premier League have been fucking horrendous, aren't they? From that fella what was he called? Was it Warner or something that they had at Villa?
Randy Lerner.
That's the fella. Jesus. To him, I mean, all of them make Mike Ashley look like a fucking good owner, don't they? Let's be real.
A lot of them
graft.
Yeah, do the similar thing. Like you mentioned, Gillette and Hicks is coming in not having any money, then try to just sort of make as much money out of the club as you can without investing anything, which doesn't work. You've got the Glazers, obviously, have done what they did. I think Randy Lerner came in and was like that for a season and then ran out of money and was like, let's sell everyone.
Oh, the Leeds technique.
Yeah. We had our shot. It didn't work out. We didn't get Champions League. It's over now. When I say it's over, I mean the football club is over. The experiment's failed, and all the Villa fans are like, hang on a minute. So yeah, I mean they've not been great, have they? And this seems like another sort of idea that try to preserve, as Scotty was mentioning earlier, the status quo amongst the elite. And there's got to be a better way of helping the clubs that are struggling than this. I mean, even as a United fan sitting here going, okay, we could have more of a say and we could have a bigger sort of slice or whatever. It doesn't sit right. It doesn't taste right. And it's just one of them where you think, nah, this shouldn't be going on. And I think that the reaction from everyone has shown that. It's very rare you get all football fans agreeing on anything.
The whole principle
agreeing on this is shit idea.
The whole principle of sport is that you're playing on an equal playing field, on a level playing field, isn't it? And that's just
supposedly. Rarely that's the case.
No, and it's just like, the top six are like Lance Armstrong, whilst the others are sort of peddling to catch up with us.
Game Day Depot in the comments has said that he thinks I don't like Americans. But then he says, I agree, owners from the US have been bad, but he generalizes all Americans a lot. Right, listen, mate, if you can't differentiate the difference between an entire nation of people and like the half a dozen or so twats that have decided to come and own Premier League football teams, that's on you, right? Fucking sort your napper out. There's a big difference between an entire population of 300 million people and 6, 7 utter twats that have decided to, I was going to say invest. That's not really the case, is it? Certainly not the case in the Glazers.
Oh.
No, you look at the way that, the Moneyball lot have gone at it. It makes sense in the way they've done it. They've made money, but they've invested and then they've made the money back sort of thing. And Liverpool haven't gone crazy in the transfer window this summer because they don't need to. Whereas, you look at our owners, for example, they've just done it the completely wrong way around, and now they're in a position where they're not willing to spend any money. We're miles away from where we need to be, and there's probably no light at the end of the tunnel for us. So, you've got to call it as you see it, haven't you? And the evidence is there. Like you said, FSG have done a decent job, but the Glazers have been probably the worst owners imaginable. And then the likes of Gillette and Hicks, I mean, the Scousers were out with pitchforks for them, weren't they, not long ago? So that shows you how popular they were and what a great job they were doing. So, yeah, it's not just an American thing, because as you said, FSG have done a good job, but it's like owners that have no affiliation with the football club whatsoever, other than we can make some money out of it.
Jack in the comments says, do you ever think what happened to Leeds or Villa could happen to us? Very important comment, that, actually, because one of the major oppositions to the Glazer ownership in 2005 was the fact that Leeds had basically just gone tits up. The ITV Carlton deal. For those that aren't aware, Leeds around 99, 2000, 2001 had put together quite an exciting young team. David O'Leary was in charge, and he clearly never regained that magnetism that he had when he was at Leeds for that short period. They brought in Rio Ferdinand from West Ham for a mega amount of money, relatively. They sold him for more, but they brought him in. They had the likes of Alan Smith, Bowyer, Kieran Dyer. It was Dyer, wasn't it?
Yeah, Viduka was there.
There was a real Woodgate, there was a real good core of a team, dead young, as O'Leary used to mention about every 14 seconds. that was actually doing bits. But the problem is the money got away from them. And for a club of the size of Leeds at the time, the TV revenue weren't the same as it is now. And they gambled on future either Champions League payouts or TV money payouts to finance some sales. And was it training ground redevelopment or something along those lines? Basically, they took a loan out against future earnings, which is almost identical to what the Glazers were proposing when they took over United in 2005. The problem with what happened with Leeds is there was an ITV Digital, ITV Carlton TV deal. Was it for Champions League?
Yeah, I mean, what Leeds did was the whole model was based on them getting Champions League.
Yeah, and then those future earnings, whatever happened.
Yeah, no, you're right. Future earnings.
ITV Carlton went tits up, owing not just Leeds, but like most of the Championship and League One. I think all were owed money by them, a lot of money. And when they went tits up, Leeds had to basically do a fire sale because the bank called in their loans. So we got Rio Ferdinand, we got Alan Smith, but they basically just was like, everyone that we've just bought, fuck it, sell them. Car boot time, get out, fucking go. And then Leeds fell like a stone, and it was sensational, and we all loved it. and they disappeared for what 15, 16 years. It was fucking great. But on the real side of stuff, when the Glazers bought United and they went, hey, we're going to buy this club, who at the time had revenues of about, was it 180, 200 million a year? And we're going to put, that's revenue, not profit. We're going to put £660 million worth of debt onto the club. And people are looking at what happened with ITV Carlton, looking what's going on here and going, fucking hell, this doesn't sound like a good idea, lads. This does not sound like... I'm not an accountant, but that's...
It's not adding up there somewhere.
Say that first bit again. You're going to do what?
Yeah.
and they put in as much as us three could manage to put in, right?
Yeah.
And in the past 15 years, they've taken out 1.5. Right, now, for starters, what sort of interest rate is this fucking loan? Because I've had some meaty credit card bills in my day, right? But I've never paid back 1.5 billion and still owed exactly the same fucking amount that I owed in the first place.
I didn't know Wonga loan's that big, because it is a Wonga loan, that, isn't it? It's like, thanks for your payment. Now you owe us more than you used to. What? You're not even back to square one. You're behind where you were by paying.
Can you imagine any of us going into the bank with that proposal?
I want to buy this business. You got any money?
Yeah.
No. What I'm going to do is you're going to give me a loan on the business that I don't own yet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And yet the FA still passed it. Do you not think the FA should have done more at during all this?
Yeah. I don't actually understand why they stopped the Sky one.
When you look at it, stopping the Sky one and allowing the Glazers one makes zero sense. Like, you know, I did not want Rupert Murdoch to own my football club by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying that was a good thing, but they stopped that one and then go, he's not allowed to, the guy who's actually got some money. But these guys who've got no money whatsoever and who want to put this club into debt that you're never, ever going to get out of, yeah, that's all right.
Well, it was the Monopolies and Mergers Commission that stopped the B Sky B takeover of Manchester United in 98, was it? Was it 98? I still don't know what the fundamental issue from the Monopolies and Mergers Commission was to why that got stopped. I think they were saying that would give preferential treatment to Manchester United in terms of broadcasting, but what the fuck does that mean? Like,
no. It was weird, and you know, you talk about it like this whole thing about proper tests and the fit and proper tests, and they've never done that. We've seen it. You remember when Portsmouth had like 9 owners in a season, and some of them owners didn't even have any money.
Frank Sinatra when he bought City.
Yeah.
Went he up for like a bigger rap sheet than fucking El Chapo, I think.
He was literally murdering people.
Yeah.
It's like Charles Manson. And
just let me just go down my fit and proper person test.
Yeah.
Yeah, you passed.
Yeah. Got no money. You wanted for crime in your own country. Don't worry about it. You can still own this football club. And it's like, even with like, you know, look at Ridsdale. He had to take a lot of responsibility for what happened with Leeds because he was like a kid in a sweet shop going spending money. And then he still went on to, I remember interviewing him once when he was chairman at Preston after all this. And you think someone would go, right, you're not doing that again. You're not in charge of the club. You don't know what you're doing.
Do you think someone would step in and say, you're not allowed?
Yeah.
But who the fuck hired him? Who at Preston was like, so
that was a good idea.
You could come and ruin this football club too.
Do you know the best thing about it was you'll probably know who I'm on about, Steve. Graham Wesley was the first manager he appointed. So you had an absolutely bonkers manager and Peter Ridsdale, an absolutely bonkers chairman. And needless to say, it didn't end well.
It's mad, isn't it?
It is, and it's like, you know, the sort of saving grace for United has been that we're so big and we're so rich that we've sort of got away with this 15 years of shit and not gone under. Whereas other clubs who aren't on our scale, who have had these owners that have took the piss, have gone under or have struggled. You know, we mentioned Portsmouth, for example. Leeds went into very nearly went under.
Yeah, Portsmouth won the FA Cup went.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, you've got so many of these clubs. Birmingham City's another one.
How many of these have I Redknapp managed?
All of them, I think.
What's that? Financial irregularities?
Don't worry about that. I don't need a contract. Just slip it under my door.
Yeah.
I'll take cash.
I bet he's mint on the piss, I Redknapp.
I bet there's no difference. Like,
better don't pay for a round.
Have you heard? Have you ever heard the front free? Not front free. It was the Magic Sponge podcast where they had Barry Fry on.
He's quality. I've not heard that, but I've heard him.
It's so much fun. He's talking about they filled in a transfer sheet for someone, but like you only get a certain amount of days on it, so you leave it fucking blank, so you never like actually sign it. Bent as fuck, basically. And Harry Redknapp knew that he didn't ever sign his players like officially due to the league. So he broke into his fucking office and robbed his transfer sheet and signed someone. Would you love to talk to these lot about how it went off in the 70s? Because like you've seen Life on Mars, haven't you? Just imagine that in a football setting. That must have been so much fun.
Mate, do you know what?
That's a sitcom idea for you there, by the way.
I remember once on
the Gaffer.
I remember on
Stephen Howson 2020.
Soccer Saturday, they had Chris Kamara at Portsmouth, and it was just like half an hour before kickoff or just before the players were arriving. And he went, "We're going to get a sneak preview here into the changing rooms and see Harry Redknapp doing all his pre-match preparation." And he went in, and Harry Redknapp was sat at his desk with his feet up reading the Racing Post. It's like the game's almost ready to go, and he's just sat there like,
tactics!
Hey! Yeah, football.
Fucking hell.
Old school.
It'd be mint that, wouldn't it, to actually look back and see. I mean, even dramatized version of what it must have been like. Just because Life on Mars was great, and I can imagine a football version of that. You could even set it at the same fucking place.
You could. It's mad in it as well because, like, you know how George Graham got done for bungs. He weren't the first, was he?
Oh, yeah, the only guy that had a fucking envelope stack. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Who's this player you want me to sign? Never heard of him. Yeah, I'll sign him. Well, I get a quarter of his transfer fee. Yeah, sweet.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Venables got done for a bit as well, didn't he? He was a bit of a dodgy.
Is that why he went from England manager?
Yeah.
The investigation into that, was it like resign and we maybe don't investigate you?
Well, didn't they? They sort of appointed him, didn't they? On it because you remember, he wasn't officially manager; he was coach, and he was under a cloud when he got appointed. Yeah, he wasn't. He was officially his official title was first team coach or something. It wasn't. It was all honestly. It was weird, and they also announced his successor almost immediately, or the fact that he wouldn't be going past the Euros. It was like he's literally here for the Euros, and he's going. Regardless of what we do in the Euros, he's not sticking
Best
around.
football England ever played that.
Maybe. I'm not. Other than the Dutch game, I thought we were very lucky in that tournament.
Well, that's tournament football.
When have you played better, Jay?
Well, I just think, we drew with Switzerland. We robbed Spain. They scored a perfectly good goal that was disallowed, and we got beat off Germany. Oh, all right. We beat a poor Scotland team.
So again, when have we played better?
We played better. I'd say
so best tournament since '66. All I can fucking hear.
I'd say I mean, I don't think England have ever done really well at a tournament in my lifetime. 1990 they did okay, I suppose. Beating Cameroon was a good result. Well, do you want me to say this season? Oh, what we beat in the last World Cup we beat Sweden and scraped past Colombia without James Rodriguez. What they fucking do? Do you know what I mean?
I think someone just mentioned it there about Venables paid a bung to Brian Clough, didn't it? I don't know. I wasn't there. I couldn't possibly speculate. But by the sounds of things, that entire class of manager, of which Fergie is one, loved an envelope. I mean, I bet it was doable in the 90s when transfers was 400 grand. Now when it's like 180 million, how do you get the manager slice out of that?
Wasn't there something with Sheringham from Clough, from Forest to Spurs?
I'm not aware of it if it was.
I'm sure. I mean, I don't want to slander anyone, even if, speaking of the dead, but I think like someone went down with that. Like because obviously he went, didn't he, from Forest to Spurs for like they put in a bid of 2 million and it was this rejected, and it was like 2.1. And it was accepted. But the point one may or may not have ended up in Brian Clough's back pocket.
Well, even like when you think about how we signed Cantona, I'm obviously not suggesting there was any bungs involved with how we signed Cantona, but it was like, we'll give you $1 million for him. All right, if you say it's 1.2, fine. What the fuck kind of cowboy accounting is that?
So, like, how does that work? Like, in the financial part of that, like,
yeah. You as the chairman come out and go, yeah, we've signed Eric Cantona for 1.2 million, and your accountant's sitting there watching it, going, "Says 900 grand here."
Don't worry about that.
It was in the paper saying it, you knobhead.
You don't need to worry about that, yeah. Oh, is that that's like top tier football as well? This is like, you know what I mean, non-league. This is like elite clubs. Just jobs for the boys and backhanders. Don't worry about it. It's all sorted.
I think there's an absolute barn burner of a documentary, but there's too many of them still alive for it to go out yet, I reckon.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even, you know, Busby must have been at it. Clough must have been at it. Revy must have been at it.
Revy was into
one of them characters.
Oh, you know, and then there was the time Fergie wouldn't talk to the Beeb because he accused him of certain things. Allardyce the same. I mean, you know, I'm not speaking of Sir Alex Ferguson, obviously, but, you know, some managers must have been up to it.
Didn't fucking, was it Vittoria who we signed Bebe from? We said we signed him for 7 mil. Didn't they bank like 2?
Yeah.
But that was probably suspicious. Exchange rates.
This kid who's never kicked a football anywhere remotely near top level suddenly cost 7 million quid.
Can I ask why there's a homeless World Cup as well? on a very flat, obviously I care about homelessness in our city, so I'm certainly not trying to take the piss out of homelessness. But why is there a homeless World Cup? Why, instead of saying we'll buy you a kit and fly you to somewhere to play in a tournament, can't we just give you a few nights fucking bed and breakfast and maybe help you on your fucking way to get back in society?
Yeah, what sort of sadistic shit is that? What do they do once they finish a tournament? Just like, fuck them off back onto the streets while you've had your run.
Yeah,
just give them a one-way ticket.
Mate.
You get a one-way ticket to the tournament.
We stopped anyone else kipping on it, so that's just still yours.
Once it's over, you're on your own. Mate, you know what I mean? We ain't got to take you home anyway. You ain't got anywhere to live, so just leave you there.
That's like literally one step down from bum fights.
It's a bit like the Hunger Games, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whoever wins this game now, we're going to give you a flat.
But it's only one.
It fucking is, man. It's like the Hunger Games.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? So people in the comments going, what are you talking about the homeless World Cup for? Bebe played in the homeless World Cup. That was where he was seen, at the homeless World Cup.
What the fuck are your scouts doing though when they're scouting players at the home? What level are you at when you're actually looking?
No, I'm in Portugal. No, not watching Benfica. I'm at the homeless World Cup, mate. Seriously. No, I'm serious. Yeah.
Got a player here for you. Bargain. 7 million quid.
Bargain.
7 million. Get him now. Make a bid before someone else gets in there quick. What's that? He's not very good.
People in the comments are thinking I'm lying. Google it. Google it off your own fucking back. The homeless World Cup. And that's why we signed Bebe.
Imagine that now, with everyone losing the shit as they are. Imagine if on deadline day, you had Jim White going, United, breaking news. United have made a last-minute deal here. They've signed some kid from Portugal. You're like, fucking hell, get in. They've seen him at the homeless World Cup. Oh, fuck off. No.
Yeah, and then you get all them fucking in the nose like, yeah, I saw him in the qualifiers.
Yeah. I always rated him.
I saw him when he was just playing in the bins. Why are people organising organised tournaments for fucking homeless people? Just help them.
Just have a tournament that they can enter.
Yeah. Instead of there's a pair of boots, buy your kit, buy your travel. Why don't you buy facilities and services that are actually going to fucking help that and prevent that? It's the most insane shit ever. And probably some guy's probably thinking he's doing a really good thing.
Yeah.
We fly you here, you got a hotel for a couple of weeks. and then you can fuck off and get back on the street. I don't know what's a worse idea, this or the big picture.
Well,
it's a toss up, innit? It's open to debate.
well, they both happened, don't they? They're both going to happen. So fuck.
Well, yeah, they both did happen, yeah. Fucking hell.
It was mad with Bebe as well because he was so bad. Like he was that.
Didn't you really want it to work out? Didn't you really want it to work though? Didn't you just think that
mate.
you know, like what a fucking role? It is a football club where someone who lives on the streets can go on like it's some sort of fucking Hollywood movie and score a banger in the fucking 90th minute. And
I'll tell you what, when he went back to Portugal, he scored bangers only.
He went
back to Portugal. I can't remember who he played for.
Was it Rio?
He's in Turkey.
Rio
now,
Ave. Is it Rio Ave?
He went to Rio. I think Mitten went and interviewed him as he does. But yeah, so he had a career. He was just never anywhere near Manchester United level, especially not under Fergie when we were winning things. Do you know what I mean? Just more madness.
How does that happen? Like, I know trials still happen at top flight clubs. I would be very interested actually in seeing how many people come and trial for United's first team on a yearly basis because it's got to be 0 to 1 on it, like at most. Like, there's got to be the occasional punt that they might take on somebody, but it can't be many. Obviously, trials happen League One down, I would say, where people are regularly going for trials to get a contract, but shouldn't be happening at United. But how the fuck? I mean, this is a well-known story, and obviously it's the meme and everything like that, but how the fuck Graham Souness got that phone call from the fella that was pretending to be George Weah's cousin with George Weah's backing, signed the guy. Like, I don't understand how he doesn't come to training and you see him and go, he's not a footballer. Like, how you see him in training, because you have to see him in training, you have to then register him, then you have to go, actually, fuck it, I'll put him on a bench. And then actually, fuck it, I'll put him on. Like, all of those things had to have happened.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Because, like, didn't Matt Letizia say, I saw an interview where he said he came in at a trial and he wasn't very good.
Yeah. So someone was like, sign him.
It makes no sense, does it? And that's just like, again, you know, it's not like hundreds of years ago. This was in the 90s. Do you know what I mean? They had scouts and proper, you know, structure at a club. So you shouldn't just have someone ringing up going, yeah, I'm George Weah, my cousin's coming down, he's mint. Don't worry about it if he don't look very good. Just trust me, he's mint.
Like he's trying to sell some speakers out the back of a car. These are the best on the market. Don't worry about it. You were laughing.
Yeah,
Can you imagine what the morale must have been like in the football club when you're playing the youth team and you're looking at breaking through, and then this homeless kid from fucking Portugal comes over and gets a place on the bench? Can you imagine if you're trying to break through to United?
This was Pogba's era as well. This was Will Keane, Jesse Lingard, Pogba, all of them lot trying to break through at the same time, and we've spent 7/2 on a.
A mate of mine had a mate in the first team, and he messaged him about it. And he just said, how is he? What's he like? And he just got a reply saying, not the best.
When I chat to United players about anyone that's just come or anything like that, they've only ever said he's fucking mint.
Yeah.
About every single player, and players that have not turned out to be mint, like someone in the club when Josh Bowie signed. I think Josh Bowie's is he in Holland now or something like that? When he signed, someone was like, he's sick, you know. He's sick. He's guaranteed he'll be first team. No. Like, the French kid called that we signed, the centre mid from PSG. The centre mid. Traoré, Alou Traoré. How's he? Fucking, it's like having Pogba in the academy. He's unbelievable. Fuck off.
That's what I mean.
For them to come out and go, yeah, must have been well shit.
Have you seen Alejandro in the super chat?
I didn't see a super chat.
I've got it here. Alejandro Newsom says, big clubs smell blood in the water, providing short-term cash for the small clubs' right to vote forever, inevitably stacking the chips in their favour.
Entirely. That's why it's gross. And as a United fan, us lot should be going like that. Yes, secures our stature, but it's fucking wrong. And it's wrong because it puts them fucking gimps in charge of it as well.
It's mad, isn't it? Do you remember in lockdown where we were like, do you know what? Give United a bit of credit. In lockdown, they kind of got things right. And then since that statement, they've just got everything wrong.
Well, they didn't furlough anyone. That was a good start. Arsenal. They didn't make anyone redundant. Like we still know people that are on furlough for match day stuff from United. So give them the due for that. Fair play. They sprayed NHS in the centre of the pitch for a bit. Obviously, that made a massive difference. But they did actually do loads of stuff with Fair Share, and they put a lot of the food that they had for match days. They put that back out into the community. They had staff who couldn't work on their regular jobs. They give them to the likes of Fair Share to help them ferry things about. But then this is just I don't even know how to describe it. It's just horrendous.
Horrendous, exactly. They need to sort it out. Yeah, fucking great.
Oh, do we have to talk about the football this weekend? I tell you what, bullshit we've not even touched on. £15 pay-per-views.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Do you know what? 5 or 6 years ago, I heard Apple was getting in the mix. And do you know, like with Apple TV, you can buy movies and shit like that. And I think at the time it was like £3-4, something along those lines. And I do remember them and Amazon were talking about, you might be able to get football on demand, 3 o'clocks. And I was like, do you know what? If it was £3 or £4, I'd probably buy that. Because like you think with the scale that they're getting, because you would assume, and here's the thing as well, when you do it at £15, everyone goes, fuck that, Jack Sparrow time. I'm not fucking paying that. So you lose all of the paying customers that you might have got. Because I'll always pay for the better experience, me. Because I fucking do my nutting trying to find it on a bench stream. I'd rather give you the proper stuff and get it proper. But at £15 a pop, that feels like it's taking the piss. That feels like it's too. If it was free, I might even go to a £5 to watch it on telly for one game. But I think like £3 or £4 would have been good value for money for everyone. And I think they would have made so fucking much cash on it, just as direct sales. And not only that as well, if you're getting more people that are actually buying it and watching it, you can still sell advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you not think they could do like like in boxing, where you could have like a hierarchy of games? Like if you're going to start off this initiative of £15, the first game you start on shouldn't be fucking Newcastle away from Man United, should it? Really? If you're saying £15 for the Manchester derby, then it's a different conversation, isn't it? I know it's steep and stuff, but by and large, I'd rather watch that on a normal stream than through something through Thailand or wherever. But
but the problem that you've got is, you see that the United don't do it, but opposition clubs generally have this thing where there's a tiered ticket price. So if you want to watch United at Chelsea, United are always Class A. If you want to watch United at City, I think City might do it. We're a Class A. Like loads of different clubs, you can get different prices, and depending on who the opposition is. We're always United, so we're always going to end up with this higher thing. So if it's you might not pay for Southampton Burnley £15, maybe that's £4. Well, why do I have to pay 15 just because I fucking support United?
Yeah.
Surely that your production costs are your production costs. As long as you cover your production costs, the rest of it's profit. So why don't you just make United the same? Because more people will fucking buy it. No one's buying that at fucking Burnley and Southampton. And yeah, I've seen loads of people. Someone mentioned in the comments there, DAZN's £20 a month or $20 a month. You can pay for the year for $150 a month. Some guy in India said it's like $40 for the year for their full fucking subscription package. And you're like, fuck me. Like, my Sky bill's about £130 a month. Now, there is an iPad on that. But fuck me. Do you know what I mean? It's still outrageous. And then I've got to pay £15 on top of that shit.
Yeah.
Per game, of which there might be 6 or 7 a month. That racks up.
Of course it does, especially, times around, aren't they? Everyone's struggling.
Especially after they've been giving everyone free games as well last season. It's like they're clawing money back that they've lost in the end of their last season.
I don't understand why Sky have lost money. Why have Sky lost money?
Was it BT Sport that allowed them people to have free subscriptions, or was it them that?
I don't understand why they've lost money. Don't fucking give everyone it for free and then go, oh, I got no money now, I'll give it all away for free. It's the fucking worst business idea I've ever heard in my life.
Peter Ridsdale's in charge of it.
It's insane, isn't it? It's actually insane. You're like, yeah, people say, does my Sky price go down? No. So the games I used to get when I signed up for the contracts.
Yeah, you just paid more.
You like that, do you? Cool. It's extra now. Jesus.
It's a joke. It is. It's just making it harder, isn't it? Everything.
I found out. Obviously, we're using Droylsden FC's facility for the Paddock games, and I found out how much. It's like 500 fucking quid for BT, and it's about 800, 900 quid a month for Sky.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's like, oh, I've got to put Sky back on. And I was like, oh, put it back on then. And then he was like, it's going to cost me like 1,500 quid to get them both put back on. I was like, what? And obviously, we're on the verge of another fucking lockdown, aren't we? I mean, I'm glad we only got tier 2'd. I mean, I don't really know exactly what that means. Is tier 3 football done? Are we fucked? We got no games then at all?
I think no, because football is considered a work and it's a professional sport rather than it being a sort of amateur. So I think any sort of, you're not allowed to meet your mates for a game of football, but I think football, as in the Premier League, will still be able to continue through it. But I just thought that the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 system, they were closing the pubs last night, and then when they were asked to get scientific evidence, they went like that. Actually, we're not closing the pubs because we haven't got any scientific evidence because we're fucking wasted time. And if you want to hear more about political stuff, me and Motty have our own podcast.
Scotty and Motty. Did you see him though today when he was asked about it?
Text.
And he was like, well, we've done tests. Or there's tests. Where are these tests? In America. What tests? Oh, they're American. There's a slight flaw in that argument. We're not in America. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're just making it up as they go along. And, if you're Northern and you're working class and you're a football fan, forget it.
Yeah, basically, you're the reason now everyone's dying in the country and you should be ashamed.
Yeah. You're lucky you're not being arrested.
Yeah, just thank everyone that you see and go and stand outside and clap and thank everyone that you've fucking seen that you're not in jail, you dirty Northern scum. You should be.
That's what Patterson was saying in the off before. He said, I'd have more respect for Boris if he just came out and just went, listen, I hate you dirty Northerners. Just go and throw stones at the moon. You don't deserve to be treated like humans. Right? That's the end of this statement. Yeah? And I think, all right, I respect that. He's being honest.
Yeah. Do you see the lady? I forgot her name. I do apologise because it was fantastic interviewing. When she interviewed, it was Boris she interviewed, wasn't it? And she was like, you've locked down Greater Manchester and
Hannah Miller,
which has got like 4 times as many fucking infections. And he was like,
Yeah, she's brilliant. Me and Scotty was talking about her the other day. She's just, and the thing is, like, you only get 4.5 minutes with him and she just hammered him. She was just like, and he couldn't explain it. How can you explain it? If you're saying you're following the science and the science says that this is the same as that, but you're only treating the North differently, then obviously it's flawed.
It was somewhat Scouse, but I enjoyed it. I didn't retweet it because it was Scouse, but I did enjoy it. And it was an explanation of the tier system. Tier 1 is a Tory majority. Tier 2 was somewhere that might be borderline, and Tier 3 was anywhere that was a Labour majority.
That is it, though, isn't it? Come on, let's have it right. Do you know what I mean? It's just a joke, and it's sad that.
But the thing is, they blame hospitality. They're blaming football. I saw the London Palladium last night. Did you see it? Have you seen it?
That's ridiculous. Have you seen it, Scotty?
It looks like a full house.
It's rammed.
Indoors, rammed, all on the feet, giving it fucking to do for, I don't even know what show it was that was on. But, I mean, fantastic that some arts have actually managed to get some people through the door. But I thought this whole virus issue was that it's indoors and that's where it transmits the worst. Why can't we have people in a football stadium? Now, I would say 75,000 people at Old Trafford, probably not a smart idea. I'm going to be real. Certainly, you know what a match day tram's like, because the Metrolink like to make it really difficult and only put 2 trams on at a time rather than like a big long one, just to make sure that you're getting non-stuck by some fella at the side of you, right? The transport to and from and 75,000 people inside a stadium, I understand, not good. But come on. Even if you just said, right, fuck the Premier League, anywhere that usually gets 10,000 or less, if you can go in and be spaced out, crack on. Because I was at London Palladium, any fucking different.
It's not,
because the coronavirus is very specific about limited and specific audiences about who it likes to target. It's usually people in pubs after 10 o'clock at night and people who go to football matches. It doesn't really target people inside the London Palladium that I imagine was a posh frock event.
Very clever, this virus.
Yeah, it don't get the credit it deserves.
To be fair, I actually read something really interesting today, which was about super spreaders of the virus. I can't remember who it is. Let me just have a quick check on my Twitter. I think I quote tweeted it with, "This is a really interesting read," and it was talking about how this virus doesn't act like the regular flu. The regular flu, like people used to talk about the R0 rate. The R0 rate matters and means a lot when it comes to infections. And let me find it. Where is it? Here we go. It was in the Atlantic. And it was talking about how the R0 rate matters when it comes to the flu. It makes a lot of sense. When it comes to SARS, what was the other one? Was it MRSA? SARS? No, it wasn't MRSA.
Not Ebola, is it?
No, SARS, COVID, and another one. They act in clusters. And these clusters, like, it can blast through a room, nothing. Blast through a room, nothing. Blast through a room, fucking everyone gets it. And they don't fully understand quite why, but they was talking about how Japan is getting on. We trace forward in the UK. So, like, I got locked down last week because someone had it that was in our office. So I got locked down going forward. But what Japan does is they find out who you've been with and they try to lock it backwards. And they try to find where you got it from, where that person got it from, and then they work out whether it's a cluster or not, and then they do little localized, loads of testing and stuff like that to try and really isolate what the crack is with it. Obviously, I tested fucking negative. I'm still locked up.
Yeah.
And I'm playing the fucking game as much as I don't like it. But it just felt like it clearly fucking isn't working, whatever we're doing over here. Because have you seen the rate that it's going up at the minute? It's outrageous, the rate.
I seen you put a tweet out this morning, didn't you, with the map when it all turns to red.
Oh, and I put we are fucked,
yeah. I was like, cheers, Steve. That's a cracking way to start the fucking week. Nice one, mate.
If you've not seen it, go to my Twitter, just find the tweet which says we are fucked. And it's basically, it starts off with like a properly multicolored map, and it's talking about the case rate, and the lowest one's blue, then it goes like green, then yellow, then orange, then it's like a fucking really deep, depressing, dark maroon. And the entire country just fills up dark maroon after all changing through all the colours in about a week.
Oh, that's all right.
And it starts from the middle of September. I wonder what the fuck happened in the middle of September.
Fucking hell, mate. That lad Ben Sorville in the comments makes a good point. Did you see that in New Zealand? They tracked it to a lift button.
Wow. See? These fucking silly-haired twats that we've got in charge aren't doing that, are they?
That sounds
too busy trying to fucking find loopholes so you can go fucking grouse shooting.
Hey, that was a
Stretford Paddock FC grouse shooting team will be announced in the coming days.
Love a bit
Keep
of
that
grouse
shit
shooting.
going.
Yeah.
Hey, down the Ireland Grouse Shooting Club. Always there.
We should just change fucking get him to kick a grouse around Old Trafford. You'd be allowed him to watch it.
Put a bit of tweed on you, laughing.
Yeah. Corduroy outfit, you're laughing.
See, someone needs to bring a fully tweed fucking away kit out for summer, and with that we'll have it. We'll have it fucking. Oh, fuck's sake. Right. I think we should call it there. Cheers to Scotty and Motty. Make sure to go and check out their channel as well for more shit like this. And still fucking waiting. I thought we was talking about 1996 being the greatest year that man ever made.
Ready when you are, Steve. Ready when you are.
I'm there for you. Who am I doing tomorrow night? I agreed to something tomorrow night. Now I can't forget what I remember.
Not like you.
Well, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm in the studio, but on Thursday night I'm free. So if you're happy, then
Might be able to. I'm fucking locked up till Thursday, so.
There you go. Comes in handy. Got it nailed down now. Get it in while you can.
Go check out these two. I'll be on there in the next 6 months, and go and check out the video I've just done talking about the subject that we sort of loosely danced around today. But cheers for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe as always. Wash your hands and wear a mask, you dirty fucks. I'll see you in the next one. Later.